It's the Date Master, and yes, we're back. We're back still at the top of the year, and what a way to kick it off. So, we got our guys fresh and fit in the front of controversy yet again. And this is a very interesting scenario that we have here. This is a something that has been brewing. This is something that has been stewing for quite some time. So what Fresh and Fit, shout out to what they're doing. I know a lot of people have their opinions on what they say. Again, think for yourself. A free thinker is a threat to society. A man, especially a black man who have his own standards, who stands up and stands on morals and principles and values, is a threat. And you see the treatment and reaction that they get when they stand on those values. It seems and it appears to be that men cannot have standards, and the only time cancel culture applies is when it's only to, in most cases, black men. You got Charlie Sheen around here running around talking about he's HIV positive. How many times have he's graced the internet to where they was torn down daily? You had the DJ from South Carolina was in the headlines, once? You had Ben Roethlisberger. How many cases did he have? In the headlines, once or twice? Aaron Rodgers, faking as if he was jabbed. In the headlines, once? So it only appears to be a problem when a black male speaks his mind and stands on his values. You look at the Meg Thee Stallion scenario, in which I've done a video about. Again, watch how they try to sweep that under the rug. Watch how they try to sweep that whole situation with Tory Lanez under the rug because he's innocent and he did not do what he has been accused of doing, therefore putting his life in danger, all based on a lie. Watch they try to just sweep it under the rug and it goes away. And yet she's going to be championed, given awards, etc. When she puts a man's life in danger, particularly a black man. So you look at this scenario in this situation with Asian Dog coming on their platform 2 hours late. They showed the footage, being greeted with the utmost hospitality and respect, trying to virtue for a woman who was problematic the entire show. And this is something that I noticed when these spaces, and not just male spaces, but just in general, Clubhouse, other streams, for whatever reason, women have the propensity to keep talking when they're told to be quiet. They have a propensity to overtalk and just have they do not know how to shut the fuck up. This is a illness, in my opinion. And I've seen this, and even when again, for those who know, I used to do a live broadcast or podcast, and it resembles what Fresh and Fit does. We used to have a lot of girls. In some cases, we may have 8 people, 10 people, majority women, and we talk about the very same topics they talk about. No, I'm not saying they're stealing our stuff or my, idea or anything like that. But if those who know, it's called Double Cup Convos. You can look it up. And we had similar panels. We talk about controversial topics around dating. And it was a lot of over talking, which it makes it hard for the listeners to follow the show. So you see, and the reason why I like their podcast so much is because they work as a team. They work in sync. They have a protocol. Every show, they brief the guest on how it goes and what to expect, rules and regulations on how to present themselves on this show, because you're presenting yourself in front of millions. But for whatever reason, a lot of these women that comes on these shows do not know how to shut the fuck up. And this is a reflection of how they view men in a male's space. They think they can come in and run it. They think they are immune or the rules don't apply to them, especially if they have a little bit of clout. Asian doll, I don't have an opinion on her, but she is not a Cardi B. She's a up and coming female artist. She has her own following, okay. But that does not absolve you from being respectful on a man's platform, especially when you arrive 2 hours late. And then they brought the female who was really the point of the conflict or the point of the confusion taking place, brought her back and given her the opportunity to explain what took place. And what did she do? Made herself look like a dumbass and exposed her hand. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video, why can't men, specifically black men, have standards? Why is this? Yet you have a woman say, I don't date broke guys. I don't like short guys. I don't like dark skin. I don't like light skin. I don't like this. I don't like that. No one bats an eye. But the moment these men stated what they don't like, and there are justifiable reasons. If you followed their platform, you've seen the interactions they've had, you would see why that is the case. And the reason why black men can't have standards is because a black man that has standards has some type of sense, some type of knowledge and intellect. And that is a threat to what mainstream media and what this society is trying to accomplish, which is to dominate any dominant male who has his own values. Socialism. They don't want independent thought. They want everything to be politically correct. So when you saw them make the shade room twice in a day, they had to go back and double back and show the real footage. And you saw 30,000 comments talking about they need to be counseled. And you saw this coming from women. You saw some simps in the comments as well. Oh, they need to be counseled. They need to be counseled. They need to be counseled. Yet Meg Thee Stallion has literally put a black man's life in danger over a lie. Yet no one is trying to counsel her. No one is trying to counsel her because the evidence is out. They're just trying to prolong it to hopefully think people are going to forget about it. No, we will not forget about the lies that you told on Tory Lanez and put his life in danger, because beta males have a propensity as well to come to the aid of a woman when they do not know all of the facts. They don't know all of the facts. I've seen plenty of videos where a man gets in another man's business and he loses his life trying to be Superman. So why does cancel culture only apply to men? I'll tell you why. Because a man with a voice has influence. Why do you think these big companies go after rappers? Even the shoe Nike. Let's look at Nike, Jordan. Why do you think they go after the rappers now? They're giving the rappers deal who are not athletes. An athletic company who was built on making athletic wear, athletic equipment. Why do you think they use rappers to market their items? Because of Travis Scott, Drake, the list goes on. Kanye West. It's not a coincidence that they are using the rap, because the rappers have the most influence in pop culture. They have the most influence over the masses who do not think for themselves. I just posted a picture from Say Cheese. Shout out Sean Cotton. See, on this channel, we salute men, black, white, or other, who has built themselves and have come out of the mud from nothing. We salute that. We don't hate on those who have come up on this channel. We salute that. So shout out to Sean Cotton for what he has built and what he is continuously building. He made a post that said a psychological study came out to show those who are obsessed with celebrities have a low IQ. And I tend to agree. I tend to agree with that. You see these women idolizing celebrity relationships who they have no clue who they are in real life. Talking about relationship goals. I want a relationship, La La Anthony, 40 plus. or knocking on 40, talking about she wants a relationship like Russell Wilson and Sierra. You don't know what happens behind closed doors in that relationship. But a man who has standards and has a voice has influence. So again, going back to my previous point with Nike and other brands using rappers, they know rappers have the most influence, they have the most views, they have the most followers. So they use them to market their products to the masses. Because if Travis Scott wears them, I got to get them. I have never been a follower. Never. And no one can say the contrary. And I speak about my, not obsession, but my passion for fashion and the culture of the 90s going into the 2000s. I speak about this. Everyone's wearing Dunks. I was wearing them in the late 90s, 2000s, before they were popular. And people can vouch for this. Other items of clothing, other brands. We don't follow trends, we set them. But in most cases, you see people hop on the bandwagon because they have been stamped by those who they admire, such as a Drake, such as a Kanye, such as a Travis Scott. So if they wear them, that makes me just as cool as them. The same reason a woman wants to wear red bottoms and Birkins, because Keisha Dior, Saweetie, City Girls, Young Miami, they wear these brands and salute these brands. So if they wear what they wear, in their mind, they're on the same level. But you hear these women tell you what type of men they don't want, what type of men they're not going to settle for, the type of men they avoid like the plague, and no one bats an eye. But when a man states his standards, now it's a problem. And what they try to use is this reverse psychology shaming tactic. Your mama's black. You're blacker than me. How don't you like black women? And they went to explain. As a man, you don't explain shit to anyone, especially when it is your personal preference, your personal standard. You don't have to explain anything to anyone. But this is, again, in the business that they're in this YouTube space media, this is what you call damage control. That's not a knock to them for doing what they have to do to protect their brand. But in reality, you don't owe anyone an explanation. And Myron conveyed why he doesn't owe anyone an explanation. And people can have their opinions about him, but Myron, from what I see, stands on what he believes in. They work as a unit. And Fresh, he bags him up. That's a team. That's what you call a team. You guys fold at the very thought of you missing out on some pussy. Who said that? These black queens. You can't say that about black queens. If we see you, we gonna fight you. What kind of man wants to fight another man over his own standards? A beta. What do I look like going to fight or quarrel with another man because he doesn't like what I like? This is beta. And what these women tend to do, because they know they have you simps in their corner, they will activate you to go and act on their behalf, and someone will get either hurt or killed in the act of trying to come to an aid of a bird just because she's triggered because she doesn't fit the mold of your standard. Simply because she doesn't fit what you like, she's going to activate and charge up a beta to go and commit a crime. Or to go and attempt a crime and end up, in a lot of cases, hurt or murdered justifiably. Because you came to me with the smoke. Simply because I stated something that made you feel uncomfortable. But this is the time that we're living in. Cancel culture only applies to men, particularly black men. We cannot state what we like, what we want, what we're not going to accept. But a woman can come on these platforms. You have Cynthia G talking about aborting black male babies. How many times has she made the shade room? How many times have she made how many council campaigns has been put out for her when she's stating this on video on how they should abort black male babies. But this is the time that we're living in, and as as men, whatever you believe, you should stand on it with 2 feet. Do not be backed into a corner and eating your own words because you may be canceled, because you may miss out on a few thousand or a couple 100,000. You stand on your fucking square. And that's the problem. We're sellouts. We say and do anything to make a dollar. You see Joe Budden. What are you doing? Your track record speaks for itself. Your track record speaks for itself, but because it's an opportunity to get some limelight, you want to try to come in and cape. Shut the fuck up. You have no business speaking on this matter, period. But again, this is the time that we're living in. Standards that men have that don't fit a certain group is going to be shamed and shunned because it's how you say things. All of this, how you say it, and all of this. Fuck that. You stand on your square. But you guys, let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Date Master.